Welcome back to Car Chat TV. I'm Oliver, and in today's episode, it's all about the Audi Q5 Sportback. Now, this is the 45 TFSI 2-litre petrol. Back in 2020, they made 250,000 Audi Q5s. It's the most popular model in Audi's ever-growing lineup. And they say that a quarter of Q5 lovers are going to shed out the extra £2,450 for the Sportback variant. So we're going to do a full review today. We're going to take it out on the road, look at the space, look at the practicality, and by the end of this video, you're going to find out if it's a little bit of you. Right, let's take it out on the road. In the Q5 Sportback, and immediately, I'm a Q5 owner. I actually own a Gen 1, so I'm very accustomed to how Audi do things, their MMI, infotainment. Let's talk about some of the stats. So this is the 265 PS, 370 Newton meters of torque. It's the 2-litre 4-pot petrol 45 TFSI. You've got another one, which is the 40 TDI diesel. That's a 2-litre. It's going to be more efficient, but this is going to have a bit more performance. And then you've got a hybrid now, where you'll notice a lot of manufacturers are offering hybrid variants. So you've got the 50 TFSI E, which is the same 2-litre petrol, but you get a plug-in hybrid, which gives you about 37 miles of range there, so that'll be the most efficient, but it's more money. Now these start from around 48,000. This one is the edition 1. It's a press car, so it's got a few little fancy treats on it, and it's coming in at £57,000. £57,000 is a lot of money. Competition, you might be looking at the X4 or the Mercedes GLC Coupe. I'm on a B road now. We can start doing it. I'm going to jam it back into, let's get it into, what's the word, dynamic, all the different modes. Don't care, don't want to talk about any of that. Get it into the sport mode setting, and I just want to feel, oh yeah. Now that sounds tasty and meaty. With this car, already, it's so rigid. The balance is great. Compared to other mid-size SUVs, you don't get as much body roll or lean, and even when I'm heavy on the brakes, there's not much dive in the front, and that's what Audi do really well. I remember when I test drove the Q7, and that's a bigger car, and again, that just felt pretty tight. So I rather enjoy the B roads in an Audi car, and this Q5 is a mid-size, so it's a little bit more manageable on the road than the bigger SUVs. And 6.1 seconds, 0 to 62. Now the people, or the persons that this is for over the diesel, say, because this is not going to get the same efficiency. It's 32.1 mpg, and that's what they state. So you're going to get less. You are going to get less than that. And actually, my trip, short-term memory, I've been driving this car today for a bit. I'm getting 30.1 mpg, and I'm only giving it some beans now, really, for the purpose of filming. But the steering is brilliant. It is so good. It's so responsive. You do this and you feel everything on the wheel. I just, a bit worried there because a white van tried to pull out in front of me. So it's direct, it's responsive, but I've always found that with Audi anyway. So you can just throw it into the corners, and it's very, unless you're trying to look for that lean, that body roll, you're going to forget it's even there. Let's have a little go with the flappy paddles. Drop it down. Not bad. Better just slow it down a little bit as we come into this village. I'm used to the infotainment. The difference between this and the bigger Q8 and Q7 is that the infotainment's integrated into the dash. This one sticks out. Up reminds me of an older Gen A3 or the RS3 that we've had a go in, where it sort of sticks out. It's not driver facing, so I think it helps the passenger. So firstly, let's talk about the different trim levels you can get. There's 4 trim levels in the Audi Q5 Sportback. We've got the Sport, the S-Line, the Edition 1, which this is, and then the Vorsprung. So with the Edition 1, look at these. This is probably my favourite thing on the car, these 20-inch rims. And if you get close, I want you to get these little elements, the Audi Sport, that inclusion of red just on the rim. You've got to love a little bit of red on the rim. Enjoy that with the calipers, popping red candy. So we've got the black grille. I would also like these to be black as well. This black gloss grille's good. Single frame here. The lights look good. The bumper looks good. It's pretty sporty. But if we go round the back, we get the Napa leather seats as well inside. Do you want to have a quick, do you want a cheeky look at that? There we go. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And then we come around to the back. and we've got the bumper there, you can see, and so forth. So this is the 45 TFSI Quattro. That is the 2-litre petrol variant. You can get the 40, which is TDI diesel, and then you've got the 50 TFSI E, which is the hybrid variant. The 2-litre petrol is a bit of a talking point because it's the least efficient, but we'll talk about that later on. But what I'd love to know from you guys is, what do you think about the look? Would you pay that extra £2,450 over the standard Q5? I should say it's 7mm longer with this sweeping back, and you lose about 40 litres of boot space. 510 litres in this one, and obviously the Q5 standard one, you get a little bit more of boot space. But the way the world is going, the trend is going for those sloping sportback designs like the GLC Coupe and the BMW X4. Maybe you're watching this video because you're trying to decide which one you want, but today we're testing out this beauty. Let's get it back on the road. Time for a launch. Like we said, 0 to 62, 6.1 seconds, traction control off, in sport, in dynamic, S1, foot to the floor with the brake, build up the revs. Let's go. Oh, that picked up. It sounds decent. Yeah, there it is. Not too bad. Now, 6.1 seconds. Some of you might be thinking, oh, Oliver, come on. But think about how heavy this car is. This is an SUV, it's a Q5. And this is the only reason I'd probably choose the 45 TFSI over the diesel, but I wouldn't do that. I would be going, my opinion, I would be going for the 40 TDI diesel because I'd want to get more miles to the gallon. Well, this one gets 32.1. It's just, my short-term memory has just gone 29.6 after that launch. So really, if you value performance a little bit more and you want a 2-litre petrol, you'll go for this one. But if you really want performance, then you'll go for the SQ5. So in my head, the 40 TDI 2-litre diesel is the pick, but there's no denying that launch wasn't fun. What is the space like in the rear? Well, let's find out together. I'm sitting here, I'm 5'11", I've got a good knee space, I'm behind the driver. I've even got temper control here with a plus and minus I can change with a digital display. I like that. Headroom, it's okay. If you're over 6 foot, you're probably going to be hitting your head. But this is probably the best feature I found in the rear. A sliding rear bench. Pull this lever up, you can slide it forwards. There's 12mm play here, so if you slide it all the way forwards, obviously you're going to get a bigger boot, or if you slide it all the way back, it's better for your passengers. It's pretty handy. With the Audi Q5 Sportback as well, and the newer models, is mild hybrid tech, which is something a little bit novelty, if I'm being honest, because it doesn't really save loads. It's not like a plug-in hybrid or a full EV. It's mild hybrid. 12-volt batteries help the engine out when it needs to. You've got sensors on the front and a front camera helping boost efficiency, but it basically, the engine's allowed to shut off and then that system's allowed to come in and help when needed. But it is so mild, and with 32.1 mpg, what is it really doing? What would it be like without the mild hybrid tech? That's what I want to know. I don't think it's one of those deciding factors like, has it got mild hybrid tech? Oh no, I'm not going to buy it then. It's not one of those kind of factors for me anyway. Quick talk about interior then. I'm an Audi fan, so I expect exactly what I'm getting. Plush materials everywhere, soft touch leather here. This is the Napa seats, contrast rock grey stitching. It's what you get in the Edition 1. 3 flat bottomed edge steering wheel here. Perforated leather. Infotainment works extremely well, super responsive. Again, if you followed our journey at Car Chat TV, you know Oliver loves an Audi, and it's just exactly what I expect, really. Plush materials are up here, scratchy in there, even in the inserts. It's got like a thick padded suede Alcantara vibe. Hopefully they don't wear with too much rubbing after I've given that a good old rub. But yeah, interior, same, it's Audi. One thing I do want to talk about is I've got a Audi Q5 Gen 1 is what I'm trying to say, and I don't have any drive selects, but I bought a model which had over £11,000 worth of accessories. And you get great cars now, used cars at such a great price that other people sort of spec to a very high standard. And one of the things is the suspension. It's too firm. You hit a pothole, you know about it. Whereas this one, just soaks them up so well. I've been driving this car all day, and the suspension is one of the points that I think is really good. Handling is great as well. In the old Q5 Gen 1 I have, it's too stiff. Now with the drive select modes we're going to go through, because some of you might not know about the drive selects, and some of you do, awesome. Then we're just going to consolidate your knowledge. So I've got an off-road setting there. I've got an efficiency setting. I've got a comfort setting, which makes the steering wheel soften up a bit. And then auto, if you don't really care, just put it on that. And then dynamic, obviously everything stiffens up. Suspension, steering wheel gets stiffer. The gears are held on for longer, so you get maximum revs. The 7-speed auto gearbox, no complaints. Smooth in its workings. When I had it in dynamic earlier and I'm ragging it, doing the speed limit around the B roads and the corners, it was brilliant. You could not tell what gear was to the next because it's smooth. But I love it. Coming from being an owner in a Gen 1 Q5 to this, I can see how the brand, the model has evolved. Right, let's have a little look at the boot. We've got standard power tailgate there, 510 litres of boot space, like I told you a little bit on the walk around. So 40 litres less than the standard Q5, but I think this is a big enough space for most. And obviously if you knock those seats down with these little pulleys here, then you can use more space. So I think it's pretty practical. Now I've been waffling on about how soft the car feels and the suspension's really good and it's easy to ride. But Adam's in the back. I want to hear comfort levels and how he's finding it. So Adam, talk to me.
Okay, so in the back of the Q5 Sportback, now I want to tell you a couple of things that I do like and a few things that I don't like. So to start with, the room is actually quite nice. So inside the Q5, it doesn't really feel like a huge car, but you've actually got plenty of knee room here, and headroom for me is actually okay. I know the Sportback has a slightly lower roof, so people probably 6 foot and over might struggle. I would say suspension in the car definitely needs to be a bit softer still. I feel like they have made improvements, but I still think it could be a bit softer given it is a family SUV. I still find it fairly firm. And other than that, the seats are really nice, the material's nice, they're pretty comfy. One thing I don't like is these nets. I don't know why they're there, I feel like they just break. Nice climate control in the middle, and I feel like the windows are quite big and let in plenty of light, but other than that, it's quite a nice place to be.
I love that you said about the nets, because they're actually an option on the storage pack. I think you have to pay 250 quid for that. So yeah, interesting. So that has been our episode, our review on this gorgeous Audi Q5 Sportback 45 TFSI. So let's do a little bit of a summary. What have we done? We've taken out on the road. You've heard me waffle about, oh, the suspension is good, the steering's really good. Well, it is, all right. And we've had a little look at the space, the practicality, that boot space. 510 litres, yeah, it's 40 litres short of the standard variant, but it's still usable. What about a BMW X4? Its competition. What about a Mercedes-Benz GLC Coupe? Let me know in the comments, would you rather them? In my opinion, I'm an Audi man. I'd be getting this. Maybe not in a floret silver though. It's a little bit interesting and different. Love the rims, always thought these look really good. We spoke about that little inclusion of red. Anyway, get into the comments. What would you rather? I want to know. As always, throw me a like if you love the episode. Get yourself subbed for more awesome car reviews by us, and we'll see you on the next one.